Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. This is where we try to find common ground on current events and current issues. Today, we're going to be talking about LA riots, right? With the LA riots. What's the current? It's the
The LA
2025
riots.
edition.
I was going to say there have been a lot of LA riots. We can't
I
just
know.
say the LA riots.
Well, that was my joke, right? Like every few years, oh, hey, we haven't had a riot in a while. We need to get something going
Let's
in
get something
LA.
going on.
I need a new pair of sneakers. Let's have a riot.
Totally. Yeah. We need new TVs. I'm going down to LA. Start a riot. So we got Ryan's gonna be is going to be Ryan represents the liberal side because he's
Oh, he
liberal.
planned ahead.
Yeah.
Finally
Wow.
wore blue. It's like the
He's
first time.
I think
wearing
it
blue.
is. I'm feeling
Josh
underdressed. I'm wearing a
Josh
Mickey
is our
Mouse. Hey,
conservative. He's also wearing blue. Interestingly enough, that's blue, I think.
it's
Symbolically representing the
grayish.
cartoonish ideas of Republicans. Ah!
Let's jump into it.
Wow.
Um,
Nice one. Nice one. I'll give you that one. That was good. That was good.
Lux Bidet. Get a Lux Bidet. Moving on.
Alex Bonet. That's right. Good. Okay. Let's yeah. Who wants to talk about this? Who wants to introduce it? Josh, do you want to
Uh,
talk about
I
Ryan.
can
it?
give a little bit of background.
Yeah,
So,
Brian.
just in the last week or so, ICE has been ramping up its efforts to round up people to kick out of the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they started kind of roving around neighborhoods in Los Angeles trying to grab people at jobs, different places. And some people in Los Angeles, it's not entirely clear who, but some people in Los Angeles decided that was not acceptable. They started protesting. And just so we're clear, the vast majority of the protests have been peaceful, but some have turned violent.
Mostly
Um,
peaceful protests.
yes, mostly peaceful protests. I know that's not what you see on the
Ugh.
news because if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead, but
Well,
it is in fact the vast
it's always the
majority.
liberal talking point to justify insane childish behavior.
I'm not trying to justify the insane childish behavior. I'm
Mostly
saying the vast
peaceful.
majority were. That's just factual. It's just statistically, or not even statistically, factually true. But it
And so
has turned
Ryan,
violent, and then things escalated in really weird ways. Um, so obviously, big police force comes out. The mayor calls out the police. Gavin Newsom, the governor, is starting to think about bringing in the National Guard when he's trumped. Pun intended. He's trumped. Trump insists on sending 5,000 National Guard units to go help, even though no one has done that. National Guard is supposed to be under the control of the governor of a state, not under federal government, even though the federal government can request them and give them control. So he actually, Trump, mandates that 5,000 Guard units go out.
I love how you
Um,
phrase things.
it's
The
totally
National
accurate.
Guard is supposed to be under the state. The federal government can do it, but they shouldn't.
Yeah,
And
they
they
haven't
don't.
done it in
But
60 years.
you didn't say that. Like
That's
you're
actually true,
represent.
though.
Okay, cool. You didn't
Yeah,
say that. You said the federal government doesn't do that.
they
They
don't
kind of
typically do it.
can.
It hasn't been done in 60
Okay,
years.
good
And
bipartisan
and the last time
disclosures
it was
there. Good
done,
job.
just so we're clear, the last time it was done is because they were trying to integrate schools, and the state was not allowing them to integrate schools. So the federal
Um,
government stepped in and said, "No,
I
no,
heard
no,
that was.
no, we're going to do this."
Isn't that exactly what Trump's trying to do? He's trying to integrate illegals. I thought that's what he's trying to do.
Good try.
That
And
was a
then there was,
joke.
I know, and then there was the sending of 700 Marines in this situation. And just in the last couple of days, Gavin Newsom and the mayor, Karen Bass, is that her name,
Yeah.
of LA, have both said, we don't want this. Like, we don't need it. It's totally not necessary. And then there was a back and forth where Gavin Newsom said, we're going to sue. Trump said, we're going to arrest you. It's just escalated in ridiculous ways, completely unnecessary, and seems, well, we'll talk about it. Anyway,
yeah,
that's the
we're gonna talk
background.
about it. Thank you for that unbiased update.
Completely objective background.
Oh man, you should go work
Now,
for CNN.
well, Ryan, do you know did anything happen that like maybe triggered the riots or anything like that, or was it just sort of like we're fed up with this? Because I tried to read something, but I didn't see that there was anything that like, oh,
An
like
instigating
something had
incident.
escalated or something
I
like
don't
that.
think there was one specific incident. I think it was the roving bands. So I don't know if you guys caught this. I saw this in some of the news coverage. Um, since the Trump administration took office, they've deported about 100,000 people. Okay. Which is actually less than Biden and Obama
Yep.
were
Way
were
less.
deporting, right?
Right.
So just in the last week, Stephen Miller, who's an advisor to Trump,
Uh,
he basically gave ICE a mandate that they've got to be arresting at least 3,000 people a week now,
right.
or maybe a day. I don't remember which one it was, but he basically gave him a quota.
Step it up.
Yeah, he's like gave him a quota. Well, that's not like the best approach. I don't know if just hypothetically, right? Because I don't think this was ever necessarily the case. But imagine growing up in Morgan, Utah, where the is it the sheriff, like Morgan County
Yeah.
Sheriff up there, um, if they were given a quota for how many people they had to stop for speeding tickets,
They
Right.
do that.
right?
They do
I
that.
think it
That's a
used to,
thing.
at least.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, like, if they're doing this, are they going to get you when you're doing like 66 and a
Sure.
65?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I will actually have agreement right off the bat. Don't like a quota idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Don't love
Yeah.
it. But at the same time, like there are a whole bunch of illegals here, and Trump's
Mhm.
way behind Biden and Obama, and you didn't see anybody protesting. Like the liberals weren't organizing protests for Obama when he was deporting millions of people, right?
Well,
Mhm.
It's quite
yes.
interesting. It's quite telling.
I think it's how they're going about doing it and who they're grabbing, right? So a lot of the people. So here, I'll make your argument for you, right? Biden and Obama could actually deport lots of people because lots of people were coming in. They were catching them at the border as they came in and then flipping right around and deporting them. Now there aren't very many people coming across the border because Trump has clamped down on the border, right? So now they have to go find them. That's the difference. That's the
Yeah.
major difference between the two is they knew where they were under Biden and Obama, and now they don't know where they are. So they're going out and just like randomly grabbing people. And they're grabbing a lot of wrong people. They
Do you have
finally
any-
admitted.
Do you have any
Huh?
factual basis for that? They're like, what's a lot of wrong people?
Okay, so the one we talked about who was sent to El Salvador, he's
Yeah.
back in the country. They finally admitted that they shouldn't have done that. But I just heard a story. I'm not going to remember the name, but it was an illegal, right? So he was not here legally. He was what was he doing? He was doing something, but he called his brother to come pick him up, and his brother was actually legal, right? But it
Mhm.
was his brother. So his brother comes to pick him up, and ICE picked both of them up when they found out about it. So
Mhm.
ICE just picked him up. It's like, oh, well, you're his brother. Clearly, you've got to be illegal too. And they're just grabbing everybody, right?
Right.
So two
Well,
people.
Well, you're right.
That's
right.
what
you
you
asked
said.
you asked for a specific
No,
example. I gave you a
asked,
specific
I
example.
asked for facts because you said a whole bunch of people. You
Well,
had
I'm
two.
sure I could find more.
Okay.
But it's anecdotal.
Yes.
Okay, as long as we establish
But-
that, because I haven't even I would assume, yeah, I would assume based on the sheer number of immigrants here, illegal and legal, that they are messing some up. Like obviously, it's not a fail-proof
Mhm.
system, but for you to just be slinging from the hip and go, yeah, they're picking up all sorts of wrong people.
Well, I mean,
Why would ICE do that? That's just more headache for them. Like
because
deporting people and bringing them back. Like
we already agreed on
and
this. Because
maybe-
quotes. Because
okay,
quotas, right? When
and
you
I
put
don't,
in a
I don't
quota,
love that. I don't
that's
love
a
that.
terrible idea.
But you're just throwing ICE completely under the bus. This is their job. Like they're here. That's
And
the whole
I'm fine with
purpose of
that.
ICE.
Right. Please
So let's
don't
just-
take the position of me trying to say, like, I want lots of illegals in the country. We've already had this debate, and I said I don't. I'm not in
Gotcha.
favor of illegal immigration to the United States. Okay. So I'm not making that argument. But there's no reason that they have to put a quota in and do this super fast and
that I
mess
agree
things
with.
up. There's no reason to do that. Right.
Right.
Do it very methodically, slowly work your way through it. I mean, here's another
Right.
good example. And I'm not trying to defend what the guy did, right? the Egyptian who firebombed the parade, he clearly needs to go to jail. I don't think they're going to deport him. They're going to try him, right? Because he
Yeah, right.
injured a bunch of people. Then they picked up his entire family, and his family was here legally.
Well, then they shouldn't have, right?
Yeah, are they still being detained?
I don't know exactly what they're doing with him, but it was like a week after he did what he did. They're Egyptian, right? He's from Egypt, but they're here legally. Like the family is. They went and picked up his whole family, his wife, and all of his kids,
Okay,
and
but
detained them.
okay,
Brian, would
what
you
he did
agree?
was
Like,
crazy.
He was.
Right.
What did his
Yeah.
family do?
Okay, but yeah, is it an overreaction? Yeah, but is it like an overreaction you can understand? Like they're going, oh, maybe this guy is part of a terror cell. Let's investigate. Yeah, it was an overreaction. I don't like it, but come on, what he did was absolutely insane.
Not defending what he did, but
Okay.
he's got kids who are like under 6 years old.
can
This makes no sense.
what about, okay, so like what about this? Like, can we agree like this would be a good system? Like, I think we're in agreement. The border's like shut down, and it's like
Yep.
only a trickle, down to a trickle.
Sure.
And now that like ICE needs to come up with a procedure. I think this is what Ryan's sort of advocating. That's like methodical.
I agree with it. I agree.
That's a little more, and it might be just like, and I think they're already doing this, right? If someone's arrested, they do the background check, find out if they're legal, and then I think ICE makes the request, right, with the local agency to be like, hey, we want them, right? And then the agency, and then it's just a matter of whether the agency is going to comply, right? I think that's already in place.
Yeah.
So
Most police officers are agreeing to work with ICE when they arrest somebody, right?
Okay.
So even here in Florida, I know I'm making it about Florida again. Sorry. But here in Florida, Josh, roll your eyes for us. Everybody watch
I was
Josh
trying to think
roll
of
his
some.
eyes.
I'm trying to think of some new way of making fun of you, but we do this every time. So
Well, but this one was interesting.
Yay,
Out of
Florida!
material, Josh.
Well,
I am
this-
because it's
Yeah, I know.
every time.
He just wants to move here.
I do
I
actually.
pay attention to my local politics. So what they decided is if they pull somebody over, they can't pull them over under suspicion of being an illegal.
Right.
So you can't do that. But if they
And I'm
pull them
down with
over
that.
and they've
Yeah.
violated some law, then they can check to see if they're illegal. And so there was actually a judge, because I think DeSantis said like, oh no, we're totally going to do that. And a judge here said, no, you can't do that. And they did it anyway. Right.
What they did? What
They started pulling people over because they thought they might be illegal.
suspected?
That's terrible. I don't like that at all.
And that's pretty consistent with current law, which is like a cop can't just pull me over willy-nilly, but he can pull me over if my tail light's out, right? And then
and then he could pursue other
They have
things.
to have reasonable
check my
suspicion.
ID, see if there's warrants. Yeah.
Which a smart
Tom?
cop can find reasonable suspicion for anything, but yeah.
Tom, are there warrants?
No, not under this alias.
Nice. Okay, so I think we actually have a lot of agreement there. I should be more careful, a little more methodical about what they're doing, because you can really disrupt. Like a guy could get fired if he's here legally, and then he gets picked up for a week or something. Like you might lose your job. Like, I don't think we're arguing about that. Let's talk about the actual riots, because that's the insane part, isn't it? So we probably all agree. Maybe we should establish this. That at the very least, there's a perception that the federal government's doing something untoward. Is that why the riots started in your estimation? Because I don't think it is. I think it's liberals in LA, and as we said earlier, they needed a new pair of sneakers. Like when you see damning evidence of dozens of people streaming into Adidas store, hey, we don't like deportations, and then they're in an Adidas store stealing sneakers, right? Like, come on.
Well, I know some of that has ultimately resulted. The initial clashes were actually not people raiding stores. They were fighting with police officers. They were throwing stuff at police officers.
That's better.
I'm not, Josh, come on. I'm trying to say your point doesn't make any sense. It's not like somebody said, I genuinely need new sneakers. Let me go punch a police officer. That doesn't make any sense, right? If they're protesting and then rioting because they don't think what ICE is doing is okay, then they go after ICE. And that's actually what they first did. It wasn't, I don't like that you're arresting immigrants, I'm going to go steal a TV. That's not what they initially did. That
I'm gonna give you full agreement, because what you just said was even more damning. Instead of saying, I don't like what you're doing, I'm going to steal sneakers, they said, I don't like what you're doing, so we're going to attack you. And that is what they did. They went after ICE. They've injured a lot of police. They've been throwing frozen water bottles, and like a lot of policemen have been hurt, right?
Yep.
So yeah, what your argument's way more damning for the liberals in LA than mine was.
I mean, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying it wasn't that a bunch of people just said, I want a TV and sneakers. Okay. That's not what started it. Has that resulted? But yes, that often does result in riots.
And causation and all that. When you have the people that are likely to protest this, there's probably some lines you can draw to them being the same people that are going to go loot stores because they have the opportunity. Okay. So that's why I would just urge caution about you defending them at all here, because again,
I'm not trying to defend them.
Correlation, causation, I get it, but
no, I can actually defend your point for you. So donning my sociologist hat, right? When we talk about collective behavior, this is a form of collective behavior as riots. What recent research has found is that most of the people who go to a protest, they go knowing that it's a protest. They go with friends. They go with very specific intentions in mind. A handful of people go saying, oh, it's a protest. They go with friends and they want it to turn into a riot, right? So we now know that it's actually some very intentional people go knowing that they can engage in violence because they think there's cover with the crowd. Whereas the vast majority of people don't want to do this. And when they get there, the vast majority of people who went to do the peaceful protest, they actually leave when the rioting happens. They want nothing to do with it. It's that group of people who showed up with this intention. That's what the research actually shows. They showed up with that intention. They're going to get it violent, and they're probably the same ones who do want to steal things. I'm not even going to defend that. I think that's absolutely true.
I actually really like that. Here's my problem with it. If it's we're having a protest on Monday, and then it turns violent, and all of the same people leave. Okay, like I totally get your point, but then the protest goes into Tuesday and into Wednesday, and now we're into it a couple weeks. You're telling me it's just that same tiny minority that's carrying this on and burning police cars and looting the Adidas store?
Like mostly
40 people?
No,
and Gavin Newsom can't get a handle on that?
It's several hundred.
He can't get a handle on several hundred people? So I like your initial point. I think there's more correlation to the people that are protesting. The people that protest in LA. It's
not such a hard line. It's
not such a hard line. At least
not
this
research shows, but
well, is the research just for liberals in LA, or is it United States?
No, it's riots universally, right? Riots and protests.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at here with the Capitol protests. Yeah, it was a very small minority that were causing problems, right? And you and I both agree, it's been hashed a billion times. I don't like those people that stormed the Capitol. It was a very small minority of the people there. It was a one-off. Okay. The left, with the BLM riots, it was over and over again. And your response was always, well, they were mostly peaceful. Okay, a lot of the people there were mostly peaceful, but it's over and over again, and they're burning down entire cities.
Sure.
So, yeah, the research probably shows in the aggregate that's what's happening. But sure, there's a lot of patterns that seem to be repeating in liberal places where, as Tom said, I think there's more correlation. The lines are not quite as hard. And as we have already stated, this keeps happening in LA, and it keeps happening in liberal cities. BLM was liberal cities where it got out of control every time. Not happening in conservative cities. We had one bad riot that you love to bring up, and it was a one-off.
Okay. Tell me what city in the U.S. is conservative.
Major city.
Yeah.
Major city. There's
not
in
many.
the top 20. Is it Austin? There's one in Texas.
Nope. Austin is the most progressive city in
it's not
Texas.
there's one in Texas that's
maybe Dallas.
It's a top 20 city.
Houston or Dallas or something.
So, the argument you're making is like, so Josh, where you live, how hard would it be to get enough people together to actually put forward a riot?
It'd be incredibly easy because there's like 4 cops in the entire county. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, but
There's
you're
4
all
cops.
dispersed.
I would need 5 guys.
I know, but that's
we
exactly
could
my
just
point.
kind of
And would
split
we
up.
even call that a riot? Right? We'd call that vandalism, is what we'd call that.
Okay.
Because you need thousands of people together in a condensed area. And so your point is like all the riots happen in big cities.
No. My
Yes,
point is conservatives
exactly.
don't do that kind of bullcrap. There's a one-off that you love to bring up.
They take guns and they shoot people in schools and they commit
That is
terrorist
not
acts.
conservatives.
That is 100% conservatives
No.
who are doing this.
No, that's
Yes.
nihilists and atheists that are doing that. That's the
No,
better correlation.
there is no evidence for that whatsoever.
No, you're full of crap.
Nope. No evidence.
It's conservatives.
Yeah,
You have no evidence for that.
I actually do. Most of them are incels. They're conservative incels who are gun owners, and they're the ones who are going out and shooting up schools and shooting
That
up,
is
doing the mass
simply not
shootings.
true. Simply not true.
Check
All
all
right.
the research.
They're all
Let's
atheists.
None of them are.
Oh
Let's
my
talk about
gosh.
this response.
Let's talk
Trump
about
coming
response.
in
Thank you,
and like him basically, trumping, as Ryan was saying, the state and saying, "Oh, I'm going to bring these guys in." Like, is that a problem? Is it good? We want, like Ryan was bringing up the example that the last time this happened was with like segregation in schools, right? And we kind of had to force the state's hand. But we're like, that was good and this is bad, or is this also a state kind of being inept and not doing something? To kind of escalate this, I also want to talk about there. I only read the title, but it was something. There was this kind of war of words with Trump saying, "Well, we're going to withhold federal funding if you're going to violate this," and then Newsom's like, "Well, we're not going to pay our federal taxes," right? And and now this kind of, but which is kind of a big deal, right? Of like, this is like, as
Civil
California
War
wants
type
to
stuff.
secede, right?
Yep.
Kind of stuff. So that's, I'm sure it's rhetoric at this point, but it's sure like, but with this rhetoric hasn't come up much, and now that we're even saying it, a governor saying it, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean it's constitutional crisis, edging towards constitutional crisis level rhetoric, right?
Exactly.
Where the president is saying, "I'm going to arrest a governor because the governor is refusing to let me control the National Guard in his state and to send troops into his state, even though the police have everything under control."
The police have everything like
Check
now?
Check the last 2 days.
Now? Okay.
Check the last 2 days. Things have been fine.
I just wanted to be clear on your timeline, what you were referencing there, because
Yeah.
they let LA burn for over a week.
Okay, and do keep in mind when we say LA burn, we're talking about a couple of small neighborhoods. It was not the whole city.
I know
It's
the
a
rest
massive
of it.
city.
The rest of it burned last year because of the inept
Because of the
mayor. Like there's
because
not
of the
a lot
fires.
left to burn. So,
Yeah.
There is a curfew in LA right
Yes.
now. I was just in LA this morning, so like at the airport, and but we there was nothing. There
Was it
no,
chaos? Was it
no,
crazy?
it was nothing. It was
Right.
business as usual, and there was no
I watched-
tension or anything.
I know.
But-
I watched Jimmy Kimmel last night. I know you guys are going to love that. He was like, just to illustrate, he sent his camera crews out into the street right there in Hollywood. And he's like, it's fine. Right. There's actually a Disney kind of big event for a new movie about aliens that's happening at the big theater right across the street from him. He's like, this is fine. Right. This is most of LA. It is a tiny sliver of the city that is actually experiencing these riots, and they've locked down.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, can I give my take on it?
Yes.
I have very mixed emotions on it. Right. I do think Trump's reaction, well, I think it was an overreaction. Like, kind of silly. But at the same time, I understand it took them over a week to get things under control. Okay. So my immediate thoughts go to like the citizens and the business owners in those small communities where cops are being assaulted and cop cars are getting set on fire and there's riots. Okay, riots are terrifying, right? I wouldn't want my kids like caught in a riot. That's terrifying.
Nope.
You don't know what's going to
It's bad.
happen.
Yep.
And like, I don't know how you can defend the mayor of LA at this point. She's a freaking idiot. And I don't know how anybody likes Newsom. He's a moron. It took him a week. Okay. If it's a day of protests and it gets out of hand, okay. Like, I can see how that can happen. You don't want to be a heavy handed tyrant that comes in and squashes a protest, right? A week? Like, that's pretty pathetic. So you have to admit that's pretty pathetic. Trump's response, way too heavy handed, right? The problem is he can't establish a dialogue with somebody like Newsom and be like, what's the timeline? When are you going to fix this? Trump's ego gets out of check, and then he's like, I want this fixed right now, or I'm coming in and I'm going to fix it, right? So it's just they're children. The people in charge are children on both sides. Do I like Trump's response? No. Way too heavy-handed, way too ego-driven. He wants the headline of all the newspapers going, Trump shut down the riots, right? That's what he wants. But what does Newsom want? He just wants to please everybody because he's a little soy boy. He doesn't want all of the immigrants in LA to hate him, but he doesn't want to. I mean, he understands you can't let the city burn down.
Right. He doesn't want to look like he can't handle it, right? Like,
yeah. But it took him over a week to handle it. Like, that's pathetic. That's pathetic governance. It just is. So there's a lot of blame to go around, in my opinion, mostly to the liberals because I'm not biased at all. But yeah, I don't love Trump's response to it. I think it's part of me, even though I feel for the citizens that are being affected. Part of me is like, these idiots in LA, this is what they vote for. How did they not learn last year when the city burnt down because the mayor's like, we don't need water to fight fires? That's just crazy. Like, this is what you idiots voted for. I'm okay letting California secede at this point. Like, Trump's rhetoric. Trump's
that
rhetoric
tax
there
revenue would destroy us.
No, like, it matters. We're already screwed.
Well, okay.
And the federal government. Last I checked, maybe that's different now. They do a lot of bailing out of California. And they're boned. All the insurance is pulling out. I've talked to people. My friend works at State Farm. They're pulling out of California. So they kind of get what they deserve. They voted for it. I'm okay letting them burn their own cities to the ground. Part of me is. I don't know if that made any sense at all. Go, Tom.
Well, I agree. Like, to me, this is the bigger things at play here are the more concerning, right? I agree with what Ryan's saying. We're skirting around a constitutional crisis, right? And what is the authority of the federal government, right? And here's the thing that does annoy me, and I keep seeing this happen is when Ryan and I did the podcast a while ago. It was over a year ago on the Eagle. It was like Eagle Gate Park or something like that down in Texas, right? And it's where the governor was like kind of like thumbing his nose at Governor Abbott. I think Abbott was thumbing his nose at the federal government because that was sort of like this processing center for immigrants coming in, and he like shut it down and like wouldn't let the federal government in there, federal agents in there to reopen it up. And this in this case, right, this is him, a Republican governor thumbing his nose at a democratically controlled federal government. And so there was this, I did see this video on, Stossel, John Stossel, I think is his name. He's conservative.
He's a reporter.
Yeah, reporter. But he did show that and it was actually really good because he showed like that this is being said, and he showed what the media was saying, and the media said that they're violating the federal law, but then he goes over and he shows this thing that what is it? Sanctuary cities. And he's like, sanctuary cities, and he showed he showed news coverage over the years, and the news coverage kept saying, sanctuary city, this sanctuary city, they're choosing not to follow federal law. They're choosing not to follow federal law, right? Whereas, like, in this case, they're violating federal law. And it was just like, you get to choose or you're violating, right? It was like, well, they're choosing not to,
Depends on the issue, doesn't it?
Well, and it's like, and they aren't follow sanctuary cities are not following federal law, right?
Yeah,
And it's
great
like,
point.
and it's this where it's okay here, but it's not okay here, and but we're getting like, but I think so it which creates a bad precedent, right? And it really should be who are you voting into the federal government, right? And they should, and the issue is we keep swinging. We're like doing these hard swings back and forth, right? And it's like you get everything, and now you're going to put in all these judges in. You're going to stack the Supreme Court, right? And then it's like, okay, now we're going to do 4 years of the Democrats, and they're going to do it all right, and nobody likes it, and everyone's like throwing a fit about it, and it's an issue, right? I think it's an issue, and the second thing, and this is the thing that's interesting to me, is um, we like I feel like we didn't have any riots under Biden, right? And we had the BLM stuff, right? Black Lives Matter, and what was the guy that triggered it all? Um,
George Floyd.
yeah, George Floyd, and then that all kind of like snowballed, and there was COVID, right? And it was like all, I don't know if like COVID was related, but like there was all the protests during that, and it was Black Lives Matter, and it was like, well, okay, we didn't fix racism under Biden, right? Like it's like so, but like no one rioted, but like now we're rioting again, and it's like I feel like there's this playbook of like find a reason to break the law, riot, right? Now, bad behavior, federal government comes down. Oh, look at all the chaos, right? Under Trump, da 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 da, right? And it's like, right, but like, isn't that your bad behavior, right, that triggered it? And I think that's what you were talking about, Josh, is
That's exactly
like,
what I'm talking about.
but it feels like it's intentionally done to make Trump look bad, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yep.
has police brutality stopped under Biden? No, it's nothing's changed, right? So like, but we're gonna act okay now. But like, but when Trump said, "Look at the chaos," right? And you're like,
He's
well, I
deporting
don't think
less
there's that much
people,
chaos,
deporting way less people
right?
statistically, but we're gonna have some big protests over it and
Yeah,
riots.
but
I
again, we
don't like
talked about
that.
this, and I think we all agreed that it's not the fact that he's deporting less people, it's how he's trying to find the
I don't
people
The,
think
that he's
so.
deporting,
Okay,
right?
I will
That's
give
but
you
what
that.
instigated this whole thing
uh,
is he's pulling people out of factories. There was a big story recently about a whole town. I want to say it was in like Virginia or something. It might have even been in the South, right? But it was that this whole town rallied around this woman who has been in the country for like 25 years. She's a waitress at a local diner, and they came in and pulled her out in the middle of the day.
Right.
And everybody loves her, right? She's like super well known. She's this amazing person. Everybody loves
okay,
her. The whole
everybody
city's
agrees that's
rallying around her.
unfortunate. Everybody agrees, and but we have to agree that's more anecdotal evidence because if you look at all of the huge headlines and the pictures and the videos I've seen of the riots, what do you see? You see people waving Mexican flags and Palestinian flags. Okay, that has nothing to do with your deporting people that are here illegally. Okay, what is that? And again, it doesn't
What?
make. Yeah, that's what I've seen. I've seen
It's been mostly Mexican flags and Latin American flags. I haven't
and
seen
I've
any
seen I've
Palestinian
seen
flags,
plenty of
but
Palestinian flags. Okay, so that
so
goes
what's
to
your point?
Tom's point. How about if you let me talk and I'll get to it? This is exactly what Tom was saying. Okay, this is being co-opted, and I saw a headline yesterday, but it's by a right wing source. So I didn't delve into it, but the headline was, "Yeah, this is all being organized." Well, we know that a lot of this stuff does get organized. We have a guy that wants to come talk to us about it. He hit Ryan up about coming on the podcast because he used to organize this kind of stuff. Um,
Riots in LA? I don't think that's what he said.
uh, that's not specifically what he said, but he organized protests and stuff
Sure.
that are all politically motivated. Like this stuff does get organized. Okay,
Well,
there are whole
protests too.
groups
But
of people that organize to do like the rallies for what's her bucket, the lady that ran for president. We need to do
Kamala.
these earlier in the days. I can't
Kamala
remember
Harris.
Kamala Harris's name. Um, so why are they waving Palestinian flags? Like maybe you haven't seen it, right? I've seen it. Like there are Palestinian flags at some of these riots and protests, and the Mexican flag thing. It still makes no sense. Okay,
But
again,
how does it not make any sense? That
what's
makes
the
perfect
message?
sense to me.
You're waving a Mexican flag in America because you don't want to get deported back to your crummy Mexico. Like in my mind, it makes zero sense. Why are you so mad about being deported to a place that you're holding the flag? If you really like Mexico, go to Mexico.
Well, or
the
if
messaging.
you're American, why are you waving a American?
Yeah.
Why are you waving a
Wouldn't you
Mexican
be
flag?
Mexican American?
Sure.
Like the
But
millions of Mexican Americans there
Sure.
are
But
who still have some pride
if
in
you're
their ethnicity and country.
right, but the message kind of is juxtaposed to like it kind of undermines what you're trying to say, right?
exactly.
I don't see it. How does
You're
it undermine what you're trying to
protesting
say?
getting kicked out of the country by waving flags of the country you have to go back to. If you
Maybe
want to
it's
be
just
here so bad,
solidarity.
or maybe you could wave an American flag and be like, "Hey, I love the country. Please don't kick me out." That tugs on my heartstrings way more than
Or
I love Mexico and I'm Mexican, but you're not going to kick me out. I'm here and I have a job and you don't have the right to kick me out
right,
of your country.
or
That's
I'm an American. Don't kick me out. 'Cause
yeah, exactly. That's
like,
a better
Aren't
message.
you?
I'm from
No,
Mexico.
I don't get it.
Hang
I
on.
mean,
Okay. You don't
I'm
have
sorry.
to get it, but
So let's say I'm British. I immigrate to the US legally. Okay. I become a citizen of the US.
okay.
Does this mean I can no longer have any allegiance to the UK?
No, but if there's a like a 4th of July parade and you go out there and start waving your British flag and be like, "I hate the colonialists," like that's the same kind of messaging that
No,
we're
I don't
getting
think
at
it
here.
is.
No,
No,
it's
I mean,
exactly the
I
same
get
kind of
4th of
messaging.
July. That's really poor taste, right? But if there were a bunch of people saying we need to
Throwing things
kick
at
out,
cops and burning
no,
cop cars, that's not in poor taste.
yeah,
That's
okay,
fine.
so I'll let you finish, but don't let me finish. If there are a bunch
I'm
of
throwing
people,
a joke in. I'm
I
always
know,
allowed
and
to
it's
throw a
funny.
joke in.
You are.
I don't care if you're at
If
the
there are
climax of your Shakespearean speech. I'm
my
throwing a joke in.
soliloquy.
Yep.
If there are a bunch of people attacking people from the UK, and I come out and say, actually, I'm American, but I have British ancestry, and I'm just going to represent that. How is this a bad message?
I don't know.
I don't see it, right? So you got Mexican Americans. These are legal citizens who
Some
are
of them.
protesting. I'm sure there are some illegals too, but you're a legal Mexican American in the United States. You can march with a Mexican flag and say, I celebrate my ancestry. I celebrate my ethnicity. I celebrate my country. I'm proud of where I came from. I mean, all of us come from other countries.
Cool.
Tom, you have German ancestry. Josh, we have French and Irish and Scottish ancestry. Are we going to shit on that? Are we going to be like, oh, no, I am American and that's it.
The French ancestry? Yeah, absolutely.
I agree, Ryan. I mean, like from a freedom of speech point of view, yes, they have all the right to do that. I think it does. It's a very confusing, undermining message that they're sending when they show up with that flag to protest, like
Getting kicked
deporting
out.
illegals.
It makes no sense. The messaging's all wrong. Like
Yeah,
I get
agree.
what you're saying. Like when I came home from my mission in Spain, I had a Spanish flag on my wall. I love Spain. I love the Spanish people. Like I get it, but when you're burning cop cars and waving a Mexican flag around, protesting deportation, that makes zero sense because you're protesting the fact that people in this country want to kick you out because you're here illegally, but you're waving the flag for the country that you don't want to go back to.
Got it. So let me just recap what you're saying.
Well,
all of the rioters should be running around burning cop cars, waving American flags. That makes perfect sense. We would love that. That would tug on Josh's heartstrings. Come on, Josh. Is that really what you're saying?
Is that what I said?
Heartstrings? Come on.
Is that what I said?
It makes no sense. Like,
is that what I
neither
said?
of these positions make any sense. Are you
Thanks
really going to be like, I'm
argument.
so proud of those rioters because they're American?
How about this, right? How about you get a whole bunch of these immigrants, legal and illegal, and they're waving American flags, peacefully protesting, going, we love it here. Please don't make us go back. That is a good message. That makes everybody go, oh, yeah, maybe we should be very careful about who we're sending back.
Oh, come on.
That's a good message.
With you. I agree with you. Stephen Miller would gas those fuckers and send them right across the board. You know he would do that. He would laugh the whole time. He'd be like, ha, 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 ha. That dude is a psychopath.
Okay, so let's ascribe absolute depraved malevolence to this guy that you have
you
no.
seen him? Come on,
Doesn't
you've
matter.
seen him.
He would
It
gas
totally
him.
matters.
He would
Have you
gas
seen
them.
Stephen? I'm going to put a picture
Yes,
up right in the
yes.
middle of this podcast.
Oh
The
my
creepiest
gosh.
picture I can find of that guy. He looks like a vampire, like an ugly, nasty vampire. And I'm going to get
I don't
arrested for
know-
that. I'm
I
totally going to
don't
get arrested
know
for that.
how that I don't know
Wow.
how relative that is to your point.
Zero.
Like,
Zero. relevance.
Stephen Miller is a psychopath.
I do think he looks. I wish they had a better looking guy. Like, yes, he could be. Like, I agree with your point. He looks weird, and I think he could like turn into Goebbels, right, or whatever. Like,
Yes,
God.
I
he's
think
the
he
kind of
is.
guy that would.
Yes, 100%. He is Goebbels. Like that is
He's
who
not.
he is.
No, he's
Oh,
not.
he is.
but-
He wants
He
to
is
be so
not.
bad.
You
No.
might get
You
arrested
know.
for this.
Huh?
You're insane.
I have not said anything about Trump, but I'll say all of it about Stephen Miller. And if they arrest me, Josh, you said you're going to bring your gun and you're going to kick me. You're going to get me out of jail because this is all free speech. Every bit of this is free speech. I can say Stephen Miller looks
I
like
agree.
Goebbels and he wants to be Goebbels. I can totally say that.
Okay, you can say that. You have nothing to back that up. That he wants
other
to
than the
gas
fact that
illegal
he
immigrants.
other than the fact that he wants a quota and he wants to kick as many
Whoa,
people out as
quota.
fast as possible.
Okay,
You already
there are,
agreed. Quotas are a terrible
don't
idea when
like
it comes
it.
to law
I
enforcement.
don't like
You don't
it,
do
but there
that.
but there are plenty of county sheriffs that have established quotas. That doesn't make them Goebbels. Like, wow, jumping the shark a little bit here, are we?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
But
think-
it was fun. It was
I
fun to
think.
say that.
Can we agree on
Jeez.
this? Because I think we can agree that, like, I think we can agree that, like, the shutting down the border and getting that to a trickle. I think we can agree, like, everyone's okay
Awesome.
with that.
Yeah, it
And
had
I
to happen.
think
It had to
if
happen.
yes, I agree, and I think if the administration could come up with something, a system that's a little, that's more, that's not like it, yeah, I don't agree with just grabbing people willy nilly and
Yeah,
what
me
is
too.
it? Guilty first, innocent, prove your innocence later. It's not a good approach.
Good. I think we
And-
agree on all of those points. I want to
Yeah.
raise two others. One you hit at, Tom, which is a states' rights issue,
Yeah,
right? It sure seems like Republicans and conservatives love the idea of states' rights. They love it so much
Mhm.
right,
until they disagree with a state doing something they don't like.
right.
So
Yeah. But
isn't this a situation where
full agreement.
California should
Full agreement.
totally be allowed to do what they want to do in this
Well,
case?
I mean, when people's lives are on the line and moron Newsom is not doing anything about it, like I can understand to agree when you have violent riots going on for a week and cops are getting injured constantly. Do you, okay,
Josh-
let me just propose a hypothetical. Like,
Well,
is there
Josh,
any-
I thought your first point was really good when we were texting. Is like, I kind of agree. Let Newsom look like an idiot, right? If
Yeah.
he can't get his riots under control.
States' rights.
let me just go into the weeds and complicate it. Ryan, is there any?
What? That's
is
my
it-
job. What
I
are
know,
you doing?
I know. Is there any point where you would see the federal government as being justified as stepping in? Like, how bad would it have to be in any state in the union for the federal government to be like, okay, we're going to mobilize some troops and step in because the governor is not doing anything? Is there any point where you think they
Sure.
should step in?
Yeah. So since we're doing hypotheticals, let's go all the way to the extreme. Let's say that we have a blatantly corrupt governor, right? Like blatantly corrupt, who is absolutely, without question, abusing his power to imprison his political opponents, assassinating people,
Okay.
right? Using the National
We don't have to go
Guard
fully
do all
to
of
the
these things.
extreme.
But do you see what
How-
I'm saying? Like, there's
Sure.
clearly a line that would
Okay.
cross. Now, do
Now
you want
we've
to walk
established
it
that.
back? So
Yes.
you want to walk it back? Okay.
How far do we have to go? Because we already agreed. I already agreed. Trump jumped the gun way too early. I think he should have let him figure it out. And the riots were terrible. Cops are getting hurt,
Yep,
Not
we all agree
great.
on that.
but I mean they got it under control. It
Yep.
just took them way longer than it should because they're incompetent. How bad does it reasonably have to be before you're okay with the government stepping in? Because
So what
I
is
agree
the
with
exact line? Is what you're saying?
give me an estimate because I agree. States' rights, like I agree with what Ryan said, is very condemning of the right. We are all about states' rights and power should be allocated
Local
on the
rule.
most local.
rule.
Yeah, I
until
agree.
you guys don't like it.
Well, don't say you guys.
Oh, come on.
Brian,
I'm using my state again. Holy crap, man.
come on. You got to agree though that the liberals love the federal government until the Republicans, and then they
Yeah.
squeal states' rights,
Sure.
right?
I
Nope.
think it's
the other way
both
around.
sides, right?
Well,
It's
Right.
just Republicans are the ones who emphasize states' rights more than anybody else. It's all about local rule,
Sure.
local rule, local rule. And then when your state did it first, my state followed you. When they banned fluoride, right?
Right.
My county
Right.
wants to keep fluoride in the water. We can't now
Right.
because the state banned it.
Do
Right?
you-
That's not
Yeah,
local
yeah.
rule. There's nothing local about that.
Yeah, don't love it. Don't love it. I agree.
I have one other point. Can I hit another point, or did you have something else
Yeah,
you wanted
yeah,
to add, Tom?
yeah.
What kind of governments use the military against their own citizenry?
The ones that you have been a proponent of for most of your entire adult life.
I was waiting to see how you're going to try and twist that around, Josh. Come on. There's a
Well,
straightforward answer here.
I agree.
Just for our listeners who
Totalitarian
can't see their
governments.
faces when I ask that
Authoritarian
question.
governments, which are
Tommy and Josh both smiled so
I agree.
big when I asked that question because they knew exactly what the setup was.
well. Okay,
Say it
but
louder, Josh. What kind of governments do that?
no, authoritarian governments.
Thank
okay.
you.
Generally speaking, socialist and communist governments, which are a direct derivative of Marxism, which you freaking love. Okay, so this is what that reminds me of.
Authoritarian governments
I agree.
use the military on their own citizenry.
I hate it. Absolutely
Agreed.
hate it.
Donald Trump called in the Marines.
Okay, but are they
California.
slaughtering people in the street like in Venezuela a couple years ago when they were all starving to death? People were outside and the government or the troops had marched down the street, and if they saw you, they would shoot you, right?
Yep.
Like that happened just a couple years ago. I have a bunch of Venezuelan immigrants in my apartments, right?
Yep.
It got pretty bad there.
Authoritarian
Did the
dictators do this.
Marines that Trump sent in, did they shoot a single person?
No, have you heard about what Trump asked previously during the riots, or not the riots, the protests during his first administration? He
No.
asked, right?
We
His
don't
military
judge
advisor.
by what Trump
No,
says.
I
we
know.
just go by
Crazy.
what he does.
Like it wouldn't
Can't we
surprise
just
me.
shoot them in the legs? That's what he asked.
We
Can't we
don't-
just
we
shoot them
don't
in the
know
legs?
that, Ryan.
Oh no,
we don't
we
know
totally know that.
Of course,
No.
of course we do. Like, but it wouldn't surprise me if Trump was like, "Bring me some of their heads on a platter."
that.
Like
Totally.
he's crazy. He says crazy stuff. We get
Like
it.
this-
How many times do we need to hash
His
that
head
one?
on a pig bull.
That was former Defense Secretary and Pentagon Chief Mark Esper said Trump asked him that
I'm-
directly about
I'm-
shooting protesters.
Oh, that,
Can't
isn't
we
he
just
one of the guys?
shoot them in the legs?
Isn't he one of the
Yeah,
guys that had a big falling out with Trump? Like
Right.
a lot of
right.
people said a lot of stuff that there's no proof of.
The whole story about him when he kept trying to turn during the January 6th riots that he jumped over the limo driver and
limo,
tried to grab
yeah.
the steering wheel
So
and something,
stupid.
and that got debunked and was like, but the aide was like testified that this happened, and it was like,
Yeah.
it was like, what?
It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
This is a meeting with the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Oh, here
There
we
were
go.
a bunch of people there. This is a direct quote from NPR because I know you guys love NPR.
Why
right?
are you even doing this? We both
We-
agree. Trump says weird stuff.
Okay, so you're admitting that he
We've
said
agreed.
this.
No, I'm not admitting.
No.
I don't.
So we have multiple people who are
Shoot him
all
in the
attesting to the
legs.
fact that he said this. Can't you
gosh.
just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. He
No.
said that in a meeting with the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
No.
They all are agreeing that he said this, and
Sure.
you're like, no. Trump wouldn't say
No.
that. This is
He
exactly the
wouldn't say
kind of
that.
person we have in
Okay.
office.
He
is
would
an
say that.
authoritarian
We don't know
dictator.
he did say that. And he's
Well-
not an authoritarian dictator.
He just sent the Marines against the wishes of the governor to California.
And they did nothing. They didn't
Yeah.
shoot anybody.
Of course, because the military actually is probably going to stand up to the lunatic that's in the
So I
White
guess-
House.
So I guess he's not a dictator, is he?
He sure wants to be.
Oh my gosh. It's so silly.
Well, and at the very least, he was asking if he was.
Okay.
He was clearing it. He's like, "So can we shoot him in the leg?" No. Okay.
Yeah,
Just checking.
Maybe they were just coming up with contingency plans.
Yes,
Maybe
just
maybe they
contingency
were
plans.
maybe they're planning.
At what point
Maybe this
can
is
we?
a zombie virus outbreak. But we
Yes,
don't want to kill anybody. Maybe
just
we
shoot
can
them in
shoot
the
the
legs.
zombies in the legs.
No, you got to
You
shoot
don't know
zombies
that,
in the
right,
heads.
Ryan?
We got to
You don't
shoot
know
zombies
that.
in the heads.
You don't know that.
Everybody knows that. Can we play the same game, Josh?
The
At what
games are really
point?
dumb tonight, but
At
okay.
what point do we say that Trump is a dictator? What
If
line does he have to cross for you? Because you keep just dismissing everything he's doing that looks to me like an
I didn't
authoritarian
dis
dictator.
I didn't dismiss anything tonight, like the crazy stuff he said, because he's been saying crazy stuff for 16 years, right? But I agreed with you. He shouldn't have sent in the troops. Like some of the stuff he does, I don't like.
Okay, you keep saying you don't like. Can you tell me, like, what does it mean for you? At what
Josh,
point do you go,
Josh, you would
this
say
is not
you would say
okay?
Trump crossed the line.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
But
but
That's
to
fair.
what end?
Oh,
Would you
come on.
vote for him again? Like, is this the person you
who's he
really
running
wanted in
against?
office?
Who's he running against? That's the problem, and that's always been the
Mitt
problem.
Romney,
No, I'd vote for Mitt. And I don't like Mitt very much, but
Tom
I'd vote for
Triplett.
Mitt. Well, of course, I'd vote for Tom. Like you think I'm some sort of Trump sycophant? I
Ryan
love
Cragen. Oh,
if I can be
oh, you can
if
be
you're
my
good.
VP.
Okay, if I can be your VP because we agreed to that. Yeah, I'd
Yes.
vote for you. But I I Trump has done some stuff that I loved. Right, his foreign policy in his first term was great. He did really good with COVID in retrospect compared to a lot of what other people did. His very first month this term, amazing. Instituting Doge and putting a stop to the border, loved it. The last month or two, don't like it. Like a lot of what he does, I don't like it. I don't like the look with the Bitcoin thing his family's doing. I don't like his fight with Elon. I don't like the big beautiful bill. I understand it. Trump's kind of right because he has to be more political than Elon. Elon's more ideological, but I don't love it. Do I hate it? There's we can talk about that. He does a lot of stuff I don't like. You're making it out like I'm some sort of Trump sycophant. I didn't even vote for him the first time around. He's done some stuff I really like. He's been way better than Biden. His first term was way better than Biden's term. Kamala Harris was a freaking puppet. We wouldn't know if she was elected who was actually running the government because she's a freaking moron. And just like we didn't know who was actually running the government with Biden. So you can't just say, oh, you love Trump or you hate Trump. No, I I'm tolerating a lot of what Trump did because he's done some great things, but what's the alternative? Give me a better candidate and I'll vote for a better candidate. I'm not a Trump diehard all the way jumping on that bandwagon. When he does something great, I acknowledge it and I congratulate him. When he crosses the line, he's crossed the line. If he becomes, I've already committed to this. If he becomes a dictator and starts trying to jail his political opponents just because they speak out against him. So, and again, I don't love that he's threatening to jail Newsom, but this isn't Newsom just saying bad things about him. This is Newsom saying, no, I'll take care of it, and Trump not liking his timeline. There is a distinction there. Okay, he's not Putin, where a journalist says something bad about him and he puts him in jail. He does kick them out of the White House. Don't love that so much, but I get why he's doing it. Like some of these journalists don't deserve to be there. But if he actually if Newsom next week says, I hate that Trump guy, and Trump throws him in jail, now we have a problem. Now he's an authoritarian dictator.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to stand up to it. By him just bandying words with some douchebag California governor, that's just business. This is just
right.
This is Trump and this is Newsom. Sorry. Newsom loves being in the headlines. He's a dick too. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yes. If he was jailing, yes, governors of Democratic states, yes, that would be a big problem. But
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm with Josh. Yes, he's done some things. I frown on it. Any president's going to do that. It's easy to be critical of everything he's doing, but generally, I don't see anything weird so far. Yeah, but they did this last time, right? He said this. Oh my gosh, he's going to do this, and it was no, right? There's LGBTQ family member thought they were all going to die during the first term, and just and they were just oh my gosh, I'm worried for my life, and it was just oh my gosh, come on.
Okay, sure. He
Maybe
says
Yeah.
weird
did
things.
kick all the trans people out of the military.
Good.
No, he's not. He's not. Okay, if you were in the military, you could have your surgeries, your elective surgeries paid for. They're not going to do that anymore. They
No,
shouldn't
no, no.
have done it
They're
in the first
kicking them
place.
out. They're literally kicking trans people out of the military.
Well, okay, I would like to.
100%. They are
Sounds like
out.
we should do a podcast on it. I would be surprised if they would, but
They've
it's
already done it. I
we
listened to a podcast just last week about a guy who said the military was my life. I wanted to retire in the military. I had 20 more
Ugh.
years, and
One
I'm
guy.
out.
You've
yeah.
I will
gotten a
find
lot
his
of
name for you. You want his
That's
name?
a
I'll find his name for you.
They kicked
podcast
them
for
all out
the
because one guy said he got kicked out. You've
right.
done that
The
like 4
podcast
times
for
tonight,
another
dude.
day. That's the next.
Okay.
We'll do that another podcast.
Yes, you're right.
That would be good. Okay. Closing statements. I know because I think we were trying to keep this one shorter than usual,
Yeah. Late.
unless there's something we want to jump into.
What was the other thing? Oh, bringing back the names. Do we want to do
If
that?
you want to get into it, it's up to you. This one was nice
how
and
about
short and
everybody
sweet,
gets 2 minutes and we call it?
No, we can't just do closing statements or we open up a new can of worms. I'm not doing that. Too
Fair
much
enough.
to talk about on that one.
All right, then let's do closing statements because it's almost midnight my time. Josh, you start.
My closing statement is Ryan's a senile cranky old man because it's midnight and he has to go to bed. What a freaking baby. Okay, closing statements. I know Ryan doesn't understand it, which makes no sense to me because everybody else I've mentioned it to laughs uproariously. When you have somebody waving a Mexican flag saying, I refuse to be kicked out of your country to go back to my crap hole of a country, but I'm going to hold the Mexican flag. Like, it's a bad look. It's bad messaging, and it just doesn't make sense. It's kind of insane. Ryan doesn't want to admit it, but I love Tom's point where he talked about these crazy violent riots. In recent history, they only crop up when conservatives are in charge, because when conservatives get mad about things, we don't burn down cities. Like, that's, sorry, in recent history, that's just a fact. We don't do that. Did Trump overstep his bounds? Yeah, his ego gets he sometimes his ego writes checks that the rest of him can't cash. I get that. I don't love it, but these idiots in California deserve what they get. Like, they're burning down their own cities. Like, good job, good job protesting that mean orange man. You burned down your city. Now you have to live there. You people are freaking idiots. Grow a brain. Sorry, that doesn't do anything good for anybody. Good job.
Ryan.
I want to piggyback off of what Josh said. All rioters in the future, you should wear American flags. This is what Josh wants you to do.
Your closing statement's a straw man argument. You lost tonight, bro, didn't you?
You said that we could always tell jokes. That was a good joke. That's what it was. I'm being
It
funny.
was a thinly veiled straw man, but okay.
American writer.
If you're gonna riot, represent. Come on, represent. All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't agree with rioting. I never do. I can understand the logic behind it sometimes, but it's really, really awkward. In this particular case, sure, maybe they were slow to get it under control. That's fine, but states' rights, right? Let California do what it's going to do. And the federal government had no business getting involved in this. This is all Trump trying to show that he's a strong man, that he's the authoritarian dictator. I think he wanted the attention, probably to pull away from his falling out with Elon Musk and the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff that Elon Musk said, which is probably true, but who knows? I don't care. I don't care. It's stupid.
I do. If about the Epstein
Trump's
stuff,
in there.
if Trump's in there, I want him in jail. So, like, seriously, he should be in jail. If he went to that island, he should be in jail. Full stop.
Yeah, he probably should. Well, he should be in jail for other things anyway. But I think it's, Trump is totally abusing his power. This is a classic wannabe dictator. And I really do hope that the people in charge of the military, obviously Pete Hegseth's a moron who has no business being anywhere close to the military, but I hope the military realizes that they're being abused in this case, and that they never should have been sent, and that the Marines are like, meh, this is stupid. I guess we're going on vacation to California. They have no business being there. This is really, really stupid, and it's an abuse of power. And it's just, I mean, we're what, 5 months into his presidency, and it's only going to continue like this. The guy is a wannabe dictator. He's a terrible person. He has no business doing this. It's bad. Everything about this is bad, including the riots. The riots are bad, right?
Right.
But Trump's response it escalated the whole thing. He had no business doing this.
Well, maybe we can hope that that him jumping the gun, he'll learn from this and not because I think it would have looked better for him if he'd let Newsom handle it and
Yeah, looked like an idiot.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't have looked good for Newsom. I think now Newsom looks like a what's the word? Like the fighter, like freedom fighter kind of thing, right? And
He's standing up for his state.
Right. But he's standing, he's fighting the tyranny, right?
When my cities want to burn themselves down, you get out of the way.
We're gonna
let them burn down.
Yeah, you stay out of the way. Anyway, yeah, awesome. All right,
Good point.
Good. That was fun tonight.
A lot of agreement tonight. The biases still show way too strong, but for both sides,
of course.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.
Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
Lux is supporting this podcast, but they don't support one side or the other. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.